button, and we are now live. So welcome everybody. Thank you very much for attending. We've got a great lineup today. Certainly we have four community individuals that are going to be sharing their information about what they've done over the COVID-19 pandemic and how they're managing and how they've pivoted and what some of the pitfalls were and some of the learning opportunities, and hopefully we'll be able to learn from them, from their experiences. I do want to do a shout out to Kaylin. Kaylin is a journalist student from Ryerson, and he is going to be doing an article on, I guess, pretty much how Saugeen Shores is doing to pivot and what some of the things that we're doing. So this was quite timely for him. So he may have some questions for you. We do have a PowerPoint. Hopefully everybody can see the PowerPoint. Yeah, awesome. And this was our flyer. We are going to be doing a series of these, so keep that in mind, usually every 2 weeks, so we can keep everybody up to date. My name is Shanna Reed. I am the tourism supervisor. Just letting somebody else in here. Oops, sorry. And I work for the town of Saugeen Shores, obviously. We've got Kristen Watt from Kristen's Pharmacy is going to be talking to us about her experience. She was one of the first businesses to get up and going, and we really appreciated it here in Saugeen Shores. Martino is from the Southampton Foodland, and he's going to be talking to us how he partnered with individuals and how he made it work for his community, for our community rather, and how it worked for him safely. We have Diane Huber from the Cham-bettes, and Diane's going to give us a little bit of insight on, you know, how to bring that community spirit back to life. That's certainly something that is definitely needed in this time. And then Tracy, we've got from the Saugeen Memorial Hospital Foundation, and she's going to provide us some ideas for fundraising and marketing initiatives. So welcome to those individuals, and welcome to everybody. How it's going to work, just so that you're aware, I'm going to do a quick little introduction of the presenter, or they'll be introducing themselves. They'll have a 7 to 10 minute presentation, thereabouts, and then we'll open it up for questions for the presenter so that it's really top of mind, and then we'll move on to the next presenter. So Kristen Watt, tell us a little bit about yourself and tell us how you're managing.
Sure, thank you. Thanks for having us speak today. I really appreciate the opportunity to highlight what we did well and some learning opportunities. I think it's great that we learn from each other, especially in a small town. My name is Kristen Watt. I've been a pharmacist for 10 years. I am from the area. I grew up in Huron County, very close to the Bruce County area. So I'm from a small town. And prior to starting my own small independent community pharmacy, I was the clinical pharmacist at a number of nursing homes in the area, long-term care facilities, including the one here in Southampton. Got to know the town, the physicians, and the needs, and found that there was a need for a good, small, independent, old-time community pharmacy. So we opened up in March of 2017. I never thought about practicing during a pandemic, and it has been interesting. So when the pandemic started, a lot of things shut really, really quickly. And of course, we're deemed an essential service, but we were also one of, and continue to be, the most accessible healthcare practitioner out there, and one of the only ones with our doors open. Family physicians' doors weren't open. Other types of clinics, their doors weren't open. So people had a merge or they had us. And it really hit us really, really quickly. So I'm going to kind of go through some of the questions that you had sent to me at the beginning of this to kind of answer and give a bit of a flow to what I'm saying. So you were asking what innovative ideas did we embrace and how did we change our operations? So the pandemic was declared on the Wednesday March the 11th, and I'll never forget this because it was my husband's 40th birthday. And we had time off planned to spend together for his birthday, and I just returned to work because I knew what was coming. And we started actively screening patients at the door when they walked into our pharmacy to ensure that there was low risk for us because a number of snowbirds were coming back. After active screening for a week, we discovered that the message of isolation wasn't getting to where it needed to be, and we were still finding exposures to ourselves in store from people returning from the US and getting their meds prior to going home. So what we decided to do was to put a plastic barrier over the front door of our store, but still allow for face-to-face contact because that's really important, we find, with your healthcare professionals. So what I did was I called the home hardware here in town. The thing that we did the best during this was two things. One, we used local suppliers and local everything. And two, I listened to my staff. So I asked my staff what they wanted to do. They wanted to shut the doors. So we called the local supplier, we got the plastic and explained what we wanted to do. And he actually brought proper tape for it because we were just going to duct tape it up. But he brought this fantastic tape for us. And we taped this really thick plastic barrier over the door, cut a little window in it about waist high, moved our entire cash system to the front of the store so patients could walk up, open the door, ask for what they needed, and they could still pay with debit. We did accept cash, but we discouraged it, but we could pass things through the door, and we preferred it to be a one-way pass to keep us all really safe. My staff loved that. We did that for 3 months. And started to reopen when other businesses were opening. We found that was the best way to keep us safe. So that was the big thing that we did to pivot really quickly. We also added in a third phone line. We used the MTS for our phones, and they did a phenomenal job arriving within 1 day of us calling, setting up our third phone line, which we continue to find brings off the hook. So we're really glad we did that. We also do a lot of delivery. So we get our vehicle from Peninsula Ford, and they're wonderful. We get it wrapped locally by a gentleman named Chris Rice. We had the car before, but gosh, we weren't driving as much as we did then. We were delivering everything, and I'm talking everything. We delivered diapers to a customer in Owen Sound because she didn't want to go to a big box store. She called to see if because she saw our advertising, and she called to see, and I did my best to meet their prices within reason. And we delivered diapers all the way to Owen Sound. We were covering the entire Grey Bruce area, which is 10,000 square kilometers, with our delivery driver 5 days a week. We set up a schedule, especially if it was front store items, like, okay, you're in this area, you'll get it on this day. And nobody went without. People were calling about their medications. They were quite concerned if they were going to have enough, if there was going to be a shortage. And for some time, it was difficult to manage the inventory levels to meet the needs of patients due to the concerns. So we worked day and night to meet everybody's need. Not one patient went without a med that they needed during the really big crunch time in the first few months. So we're really proud of that. And it just took a lot of time. And as anybody who's a small business owner knows, that's what we do. We spend all of our time working on the business. In terms of budgeting for it, I didn't. And that's a scary thing to do, but we just had to fly by the seat of our pants. But what we have found in my business especially, but in a lot of small businesses, you take care of the customers or the patients, they take care of you. So we were committed to getting in everything everybody needed. As you can see, if you can see me at all, behind me, I have a ton of stock. We over-ordered so many things, and over time they will move, but it was a matter of making sure that we had what the community needed at the time. We were one of the first to pivot to make hand sanitizer in our lab, and we were able to make a nice gel hand sanitizer that we continue to make until the commercially available products were back. It cost us a lot of time and resources, but it was something that the community needed, especially a lot of the small businesses, to stay open or to reopen. So it was something that we were glad to provide. But the big thing is the resources that we tapped into. For all of our local products, we go to local people. I heard about the coming things like the small business loan, the ability to defer payments, et cetera. So I reached out to my small business provider at Scotiabank, and they helped us really, really quickly pivot into holding a couple of our payments, making sure that I got that loan set up, setting up a repayment schedule of the loan. That was really appreciated. Using all of the different local suppliers, like I've said, the home hardware, the vehicle, and things like that. So we're really lucky that we have such a great community, but also a great community of other business owners. So reaching out and talking to other business owners to see what they were doing was really important to our business, to understand how they were coping, what they needed, what I needed, and what we could support each other. And for us, our marketing and promotion was the biggest thing. So we have a pretty good audience on our Facebook page, but we added in Instagram, we added in Twitter, and we were posting 4 or 5 times a day, different products we have, different services that we offer, how to get in touch with us. If you can't see your physician, if you can't get the meds that you need anywhere else, call us, we'll do what we can. And I'd say that's the single best thing that we did, was focusing on social media and getting our message out there that we were open and available to help in a very safe way during the initial stages of the pandemic and ongoing. It's something we continue to hit every day. We continue to offer that delivery service, and people are really grateful for it. And ongoing, we implemented a mask mandate in the store when we opened our doors, and that was 3 weeks before Grey Bruce implemented their mask mandate. I felt very strongly about that from the beginning. I was wearing a mask in grocery stores in March, so I requested that clients, patients wear a mask in the store, and we offer alternatives for those who can't. Curbside pickup, continued delivery. We really work hard to accommodate everybody in a non-judgmental way, but made that masks were required in the store, and everybody's been so wonderful about it. We have such a great community. We are super lucky to be here. I can't say that enough. Our clients, our patients, our customers, they have been amazing. And we have the passive screening continues at the door, and during flu shot season, we've been actively screening, which means we're calling ahead and asking patients for their COVID risk prior to them entering the store, and everybody's been really kind and understanding about that. And I think it's something that will have to continue until the COVID vaccine comes out, which hopefully for this area comes to pharmacies, because we have 1 health unit and 68 pharmacies in Grey Bruce. So it will be really important for the message to get to our local MTPs and our MP that the pharmacies will be the place to be. So that's my spiel, and I'm open to questions if anybody has any questions.
I don't have a question, but am I allowed just to jump in, Shanna?
Absolutely.
Awesome. Hi, Kristen. My name's Jessica. I'm the Director of Strategic Initiatives here at the town with Shanna. I just wanted to say thanks so much, and thanks to all of you who are going to speak. But specifically, I really wanted to just say thanks. I appreciated when you made the comment on purchasing local, calling your local home hardware, getting that plexiglass up. And that's the kind of community business that makes my team really proud, but also helps us in the work that we do in supporting all of our businesses and entrepreneurs in Saugeen Shores. So thanks and congratulations, and thanks for sharing. I really appreciated that. Thank you. I think it's really important that we support each other in our local business initiatives, and realize that the small businesses are really what's the beating heart of a community like this.
Awesome, thank you. If there's any other questions? Kristen, certainly my takeaway on that, I've written down a number of notes. Definitely the local suppliers came out big in your presentation, so thank you for that. The other thing that I saw in there was that use of social media, and I think that's never going to go away either. Certainly with how it's helped and how we've been able to communicate through those means. So, thank you for setting those things up in your business, and we look forward to seeing you out there on a regular basis with the vaccine that's going to come very soon, right?
Oh, we hope so. We hope so. Thank you so much.
Yeah, we're in it for the long haul, but appreciate your presentation. So next we're going to go to Martino from the Southampton Foodland. Martino, if you could, I've got a few words that you've sent to me, so I'll do your mini bio here. So Martino was born and raised in Hanover, so not so far away, and started in the grocery business 30 years ago. So you've managed grocery stores, and this is your first franchise. Your first franchise was in Wingham, and it was a Foodland as well, and you operated there for 10 years. And you've had the opportunity to be here since May 2019. You certainly picked a good year to come on over, and you took over the Southampton Foodland. And we'd love to hear how you've managed over the COVID-19 pandemic. You've got the floor.
All right, just want to start off by saying thank you for inviting me to speak on behalf of Southampton Foodland. Our top priority, and always will be and still is, to keep our staff and customers safe in these times of COVID. We've made many changes to the store to protect our staff and customers. Examples are, we installed plexiglass at every register in the store, set up hand wash station outside the store. We have employees sanitizing the carts when they first come in for the customers. Social distancing decals throughout the store. Limited customers in the store at once. We sanitize high touch areas throughout the day, and every day before opening, we come in an hour before opening and sanitize all the handles and refrigeration handles. And once a week, we get together with all the managers and we discuss all the safety protocols to keep everyone safe in the store. Yeah, at the beginning of COVID back in March, we started free delivery service. We were delivering 6 days a week, free of charge to any customer in the Saugeen Shores area. And we also had curbside pickup. We were getting really overwhelmed at the beginning with all the call-ins for customers who wanted delivery service. So we reached out to local Rotary Club for help. They were on board right away. The next day they were at the store. A lot of their members helping do the deliveries, manning the door for us, sanitizing carts for us. They were a huge, huge help for me. I've learned a few things since COVID began, but you know, I had to be ready for everything. Had to stay nimble and adapt as procedures and processes change daily. Yeah, my employees are my most valuable assets. Mine have stepped up and have been true heroes for the past 8 months. You know, I learned patience and empathy. People very different in times of stress and change. By listening and addressing concerns with compassion goes a very long way. In closing, I just want to say thank you to Saugeen Shores, the whole community, for all their support, all they've done to help me adapt to this crisis, and how the whole community came together, and how everybody reacted in the time of difficult times. So thank you for having me.
Thanks, Martino. Very well said. The community is really what's making everything work a little bit better, for sure. Do we have any questions for Martino? I actually have a question, Martino. One of the questions that I have is, you've put all these things in place. Was there anything that you actually went, oh no, that's not working, or the community is they don't understand that protocol, or was there anything that you actually kind of changed at, like, you thought it was going to work, but yeah, you've actually moved into something different that's working better?
Not really. Everything we put in place seemed to work well for us. it was a little bit of a challenge at the start with social distancing and the, the lines in the store. We kind of went overboard at the beginning. The one-way markers, just found it was very confusing for customers. So we kind of limited the signage a little bit to make it easier for customers to navigate around the store a little easier.
The arrows and the little dots where you, yeah, awesome. Any other questions? Because I have another one.
I have one.
Hey, Diane. Go ahead, Diane.
I'm curious to know how I think you still have the first hour in the morning is being encouraged for certain people that's a good time for you to shop. Has that been successful?
Yeah, I mean, at the start it was, but then later on, like we had senior shopping from 8 to 9. It went well at the beginning, and then, I mean, the store just got busier as the months went by. So I'd say it worked out for the first month or so, and then now kind of hard just to keep people out of the store between 8 and 9 that aren't seniors.
Yeah.
So, but overall, it worked out.
Awesome.
I have a question. Maria from Bruce County Museum. Did you anticipate, and Kristen had said in her presentation that she kind of anticipated that super high demand and possibly some product shortages. Had you anticipated product shortages like all stores experience, all grocery stores experience? Certainly, different supplies were out and for long periods of time.
Right. So the main products, paper products, were huge. People were stocking up again on toilet paper, paper towels, a lot of sanitation wipes, hand sanitizer, but we couldn't keep it on the shelf. And it was first 2-3 months into it, it was like we were out of a lot of that stuff, and it took about at least 8 weeks to get those products back into the store, and they were just limiting each store how much they could buy in. So everybody got the same. It didn't matter if you were a great big store, 50,000 square foot, or a 5,000 square foot store. They just distributed 1 case of toilet paper for each store. So our fill rates in merchandise was, at the beginning, was like 40%. We're just now getting back to about 85-90% fill rate in products to be delivered to the store now. So it's slowly coming back to have that product back in the stores.
Great question. Great question. I guess my next question would be for both yourself, Martino, and Kristen. Were there agencies, your corporate stores, etc., that were behind you as well, coming up with some of the protocols and helping determine where to go and what to do and who to see, or were you just kind of out there making stuff up as the information came down the pipes?
I can answer that one. Like for me, it was the head office was a huge help. Like we had weekly meetings with head office, and they helped 95% of how to put things in place, and they were behind us 100%.
And I don't know that I think Kristen had to run, but that's a great answer in terms of getting that support from either a head from an agency or a head office, etc. So that's awesome. Thank you, Martino.
Thank you.
All right, so who do we have up next? We actually have Diane Huber from the Cham-bettes. I've got a very long, lengthy description from
was
Diane, but
you.
I'll shorten it a little bit, Diane. So Diane is a Saugeen Shores, Southampton kid. She grew up here. GC Houston was her primary school, and she went to the Saugeen District High School, graduated from there, and then shipped out to Windsor and then came back again. Diane actually has a very long history with marketing and recruiting, enrolling in administration. The other thing that is kind of important to note about Diane is certainly the importance of her civic interest and participation. And it really started from her grandmother and her parents, and she's been in it a lifetime support in a variety of different areas. Brownies, United Church Choir, volunteering far away in different international development pieces, and of course with the Cham-bettes. So we're going to let Diane move forward. Diane has a bit of a PowerPoint presentation, so Diane, just let me know if you need me to move forward. I'll try to keep up with you.
Yeah, brownies was great. We sold a lot of cookies in town, so thank you for Martini for continuing the Grow Guide cookies in Southampton. Kristen or Shanna, when she asked me, she said something about community spirit, and if you actually read the poster she said made communities plural. So I looked at it as really the Cham-bettes is a community group, but we are a community in ourselves. It's a women's service club. So we've had some opportunities and challenges in making sure that our own community was good and spirited, and then also with what we did in the community. So we generally have monthly meetings. So one of our first challenges was, oh my gosh, like, what are we going to do for meetings? We had a March meeting, and then as Kristen said, slow down a bit, Shanna. As Kristen said, that date in March happened. Well, our March meeting, I can't even remember where it was. It was so long ago. The first actual meeting we felt a little bit comfortable having again in person was in September. And we looked around because we needed a space. So one of my comments or suggestions is anybody in town who's got space and the ability to host meetings appropriately and safely and all that kind of stuff, any service club in town would love to hear from you, just to know what kind of options we have. We went to Westlinks. This is a picture of Westlinks where we had our meeting in their pavilion. One thing about the Cham-bettes that's good and bad is that they're noisy. So even though we were all spaced out, it was still a very loud meeting. We haven't had a meeting since that meeting in September. We are hopeful of having a meeting in December. And thank goodness there's a mute button on Zoom, because I can only imagine how loud our meetings would be. But that's one struggle that we still have, is how to have meetings. Now you can jump on. We have tried Zoom. Oh, sorry. We have had Zoom meetings with our executive and with some of our planning for a couple of events. But to have a club Zoom meeting takes us to a different level because of the numbers of members we have. So we actually are hopeful. Another local group has set up one of their meeting halls, we think anyway, has a bit of a Zoom central kind of place with 5 or 6 stations in the room, and then the ability to have sort of like a broadcast wall or on a big screen. So we have a call out to them to try and host our club meeting in December using their facility. Haven't heard back yet, but we have tried Zoom. So now you can move on. And when you think about a community of club members, our club is extremely social. This is water in here, but a lot of people know Cham-bettes are out and about doing events and doing activities and just generally participating in community life. I purposely chose these 2 pictures because we've had to do some stuff alone, which is very weird for Cham-bettes. So in these 2 pictures, you see Darlene Welsh on one side, putting together packages that normally that would have been a group activity. And then those packages had to be individually delivered and dropped off at people's houses. That was just weird for us. And it worked in this sort of getting stuff out, but then it took about another month or two after that for us to actually sort of share those pictures of those activities on our own Facebook page and in other ways. And so it was just a very slow way of connecting the group. And just a particular shout out to Darlene Welsh, if anybody knows her. She is an amazing nurse over at the Owen Sound Hospital. She got called back into ICU. She is one of the people that in the event we need real heroes and angels here, she's definitely on the front line. So way to go, Darlene. You can move on. We also have a little network of support, again, with the community of our group that is one-on-one. So we have a secret PAL program, for example. And so there has been, it hasn't been as noticeable because normally at our meetings, we have some involvement with that, but people are still, dropping off things at various locations around town in a secret way, because keeping your own community of members spirited and healthy was important in our club as well. Now you can go next one. We unfortunately had to cancel some events. So in March, when all of this happened, we were working on an event at the bowling alley. We were working on an event at the movie theater, which would have linked in some local businesses with us. And we were also working on a program at GC Houston, which was to do a lunch exercise with the grade 6 and 7 girls, which was in support of the Rebel Girls program. Rebel Girls is a book series. All of that stuff got canceled. Hopefully, we haven't been able to resurrect any of that stuff yet because imagining a fundraising event at the bowling alley or the movie theater is tough now because of their limits on numbers. And at GC Houston School, the school kitchen is completely shut down still. So we have some stuff just waiting. So keep going. We also are a club that was used to being out and involved in the community. And I know Martha's she's watching. There's Martha Bennett right at the front, the past president. We've still tried whenever we can to be involved in community activities in a safe and responsible way. This was the Alzheimer's Walk at Fairy Lake. So only a very small number of people participated and they had masks on and they were distanced. So we've tried to, in ways when it's possible, still get out there and do things in the community. We see ourselves though as community leaders too. So we have to do things responsibly. We've tried to support other groups by taking their advertising and sending it out on our network. Here's one coming up on Friday night for the jazz night that is in support of the Marine Heritage Society and some exterior restoration on the little lighthouse at the harbor. Our group had to forego an event where we were going to raise at least $1,000, we'd hope, for the Marine Heritage Society. So the least we can do is support these other events. I must say, Shan, I know you're involved with the virtual fall fashion show. I think there's people in our group that are pretty excited about that one. So that one's coming up too. But we've tried whenever we can to just send messages out and get people involved that way. You can go on to the next one. Click over. So another thing we were able to do, which was an event that had to pivot in a big way, Saugeen Shares is a program that the kids at the Saugeen Shores Senior School have really put together. And our group really helped out with just packaging food. Not very many of us were able to be involved this time, but we still were there helping process some of the food that they got delivered. So you find a way when there's an event, if another group is able to do something, we've been trying to find ways to still support them. Keep going. We had a new idea though. We have, our club has 50 or 60 members, depending upon how you count them. Maybe more now. Sorry, Donna, if I got that wrong. But we had a couple of new members. One in particular had been involved in a community elsewhere that did a scarecrow project or program in the fall. So, we thought, oh, we'd get 20 people maybe doing something. We ended up with 110 plus, and I used the plus because people participated who didn't actually register. And it was just like, let's just get some scarecrows put up around town. We can do some kind of a little map and people can go around and we'll collect some food for the food bank. It garnered immediate support, a couple of residences. This one's on Miramichi Bay Road. very visible. The stores that were, one store before that, the Women's Cave, it's right on the main street in Port Elgin. And it really generated a lot of spirit. You can go on to the next one. It was pretty low cost. This was the big expense. Advertising was mostly done via social media, but we printed up little programs and people could pick them up. They left a donation when they picked up a program, which was a tour map basically, and they could leave food in bins. We raised, I think the final count was about $3,000, and we estimate about 5,000 pounds of food. The food and the funds have been sort of distributed in a couple of different directions to the Salvation Army Food Bank, the Living Hope Food Basket, and also out to the First Nations food basket program. We will, I think, pretty sure, be doing this again because people are already planning their scarecrows for next year. This is a good event. And it was a new one for us, and it was very few people were involved in planning it, but it generated just enthusiasm across the community. And as I said, it was 110 plus participants because some people didn't register, they just put scarecrows up. We have some stuff coming up. We've had a very successful Christmas Urn program. This is a picture from earlier this week in the boathouse where there's enough space to spread out. You can see there's not very many people there. So a few number of Cham-bettes involved in the event. And they're starting to put together the urns for the Christmas urn sale, which doesn't have a definite date, might be later in November. It will all be advertised via a few posters and social media. But this is how we've had to pivot. We've had to sort of bring everything back down to just a basic number of people. You can go to the next one. This is also them putting together the urns. That's Michelle, by the way. She was the big scarecrow inspirator this time. And then if you go to the next one, Shanna, this is one of our very big events. It's our 12th year for the Christmas Tour of Homes. And it was the event that everyone's like, oh my gosh, how are you going to do that? Because, you know, it's like in people's houses, it's hundreds of people. And of course, there's no way you can do that. So we've gone to a virtual idea. So there are 4 homes that are very spectacularly decorated or being decorated. We were lucky enough to find a very professional photographer who has a local connection, who heard about, who knows about the Cham-bettes, and word came around. And anyway, very, very lucky in that regard. We were worried because without the ability to, you know, sort of have a hands-on kind of idea to this, how on earth were we going to raise some money? We are limited in our capacity with technology in terms of collecting money, but the Hospital Foundation, and I know Tracy's coming up, they know how to do that. So our fundraiser with the home tour has been for many, many years a hospital fundraiser. So the Hospital Foundation is working with us to take care of all of that aspect of it. So people will go to the Hospital Foundation website, make a donation, and then they will get a link to the virtual tour, which is during a couple of weeks, a week and a half in December. What that took away from us, though, was the ability to have any kind of administrative money, because all of the money that is going right into the Hospital Foundation via their mechanism is 100% going to them. So we were like, okay, what are we going to do? Because we still have some expenses. We have to pay for the photographer. We have to pay for some advertising. We were very fortunate that, and we didn't want to go out and ask businesses, because businesses are pretty stretched, and they're, you know, scrambling to put up plexiglass and all kinds of extra things themselves this year. We were able to find a new corporate sponsor. You'll see at the bottom of the picture there's that little iconic thing, and then Lakeside. Lakeside is a new company that has an office in Port Elgin. They're a nuclear supplier. It's an engineering and tech firm. They do a lot of automation type things. Good to link them into our project because it's one of the first things they've been involved with here. But their contribution is letting us take care of all of the administrative costs we're having with the event. So something that we thought, it's like, oh my gosh, how are we going to do the home tour? We found a way to do it virtually, and still, we hope, raise some money for the hospital. Now, the other thing that I just want to, and that's the end of it, but the other thing that I just want to mention is that, that you know, we have some old ideas that haven't disappeared. For example, we have a Christmas card project too. We put up 2 Christmas cards on the street, one in Southampton, one in Port Elgin, and people can sign community messages. We're very hopeful that those will be up in the next couple of weeks. So just watch for those in downtown Southampton and downtown Port Elgin. Our club is 65 years old next year. We had planned to have an anniversary celebration. We're still going to do that. We don't know exactly how, but we're still going to do that. And we got some ideas coming up for the winter to get people out and about doing things and just being inspired and creative within our own community. So I'll just leave it there if there's any questions. Hope I didn't, I had some notes.
That's
I had
awesome.
some notes. I didn't look down though very much.
That's awesome. Thank you very much. Thanks for that very inspiring, community-minded presentation. We really appreciate it. Does anybody have any questions for Diane? Diane, I'm very impressed on, you said a couple of things, connecting with other groups and connecting with other businesses to make things work. That was my takeaway on your presentation, and certainly your community spirit is very well received these days, for sure.
Thanks.
Next up, we have Tracy Murray from the Saugeen Memorial Hospital Foundation. Tracy, I'm hoping that you're still on the line.
I'm here, yep.
Oh, awesome. Hi, Tracy.
Hello.
And welcome, and love to hear what you guys have been up to.
Well, as everyone is probably familiar, it is a bit of a different and crazy year for everyone in different ways. I'll just talk about sort of things we went through this year and a few key points that I think really helped us get through this year. Not as bad as we thought it would be. Of course, fundraising is a little difficult and challenging, but a few surprises along the way. And I think if I share these key points, I'm hoping they can help some other people as well. So when the pandemic hit in March, we were actually ready to go to print with a direct mailer that was going to go out to the community. And then sort of the pandemic hit and everything had to change in a matter of a day or two. So cancel all those plans, rebrand our messaging. And what we went out with was, it wasn't a plea for soliciting funds for COVID relief. We felt we have a very strong community, and the messaging we just wanted to put out was based on honesty and unity, because everyone was feeling scared, unsure, uneasy, stressed. So we just went out with the message that, you know, we're feeling the same. We don't know what this year is going to look like, and we don't know what it looks like for other people. So it was really just, here we are, and if you can, donate, but it wasn't a specific ask. It was more just a general, we're all in this together. And our social media messaging changed greatly as well. We were online every day, but the messaging we were putting out had nothing to do with soliciting funds. It was more things that offered comfort, family time, activities people could do together. We were posting links to fun things like webcams that gave you virtual tours of zoos, or, you know, a link to the Hubble telescope and you could learn more about the stars. And really the community ate it up. Like, our social media was on fire. We were getting engagement, more followers. It was just, I think is what people needed, a positive spin on a negative situation. So I think that was one of our biggest lessons learned. Social is always going to be a strong element of any marketing, but messaging we were putting out, I think, is what people needed at the time. So we went with that, and really we weren't even out asking or soliciting for funds. We were just offering something positive, and people really gravitated to that. So we did see a huge jump in social media engagement over those few weeks. The next sort of area that we focused on was actually strengthening relationships we already had with people, whether that be donors or businesses in the community. It was time to just go back and look at those things. So an example I can give is a large number of our donors were down south in the winter. And of course, with travel restrictions and changes, people were coming back early and had to self-quarantine for 2 weeks in their homes. So what we did was actually reach out to those donors that we knew had been traveling and coming back to the community, and just with a genuine message like, is everything okay? We're glad you're home. And we offered, was there anything you needed? We will go to the store and get it, and we'll drop it on your doorstep. Whatever you need, we're here to help. We'll listen, we'll do whatever you need. Interestingly though, not one person who phoned actually said, yes, I could use something. Everyone was just, you know, we're okay, but they liked the conversation. It was a good touch point. It was just sort of reinforced for them, I think, why they already believe in the foundation and why they give to the foundation. I think that was a good thing for us. It helped us strengthen those relationships that already existed with donors, and it was a very positive thing. We also did the same thing with local businesses in the area, and I think you'll see that's a theme here with COVID in this presentation today. It's we have an amazing community, and it was all about working together. So we wanted to strengthen those relationships with businesses and service clubs in the community that we've already worked with in the past. So we would go on social media and we would promote those places. It wasn't we were out there selling. We were just, you know, hey, Boston Pizza came in today and brought some pizza for the staff, and we would just put up pictures and say, if you're looking for dinner tonight, head out to Boston Pizza. And again, the social media engagement we saw with those type of posts was phenomenal. It drove people to that business, but it also drove people to our social media accounts. And I think it was a very symbiotic relationship for people on both sides. Like everyone benefited from it. So that was really one key thing we did, was working on strengthening existing relationships that we already had. Beyond that, I think the next key thing that we did this year that really helped us was work on amplifying our message. You can go out and speak and talk, but having a megaphone gets your message out further and farther. So again, partnering with local groups like the Cham-bettes, the Rotary Club, having your board members go out and carry your message forward, your volunteers, your employees, that just amplifies what you're trying to put out there, and it reinforces for those people, you know, what you're doing in the community, and it helps them feel like they belong and they're contributing to your cause. So having groups like Rotary, when we had our online or our lottery going on, they were out in the community trying to push our tickets for us, like reaching out to all their networks and contacts and buying tickets themselves just to help support. But they were out there spreading the word on their social media and with their groups of friends. So that really helps us along. And we try to do the same thing in return, as Diane said earlier, like sharing messages from other groups, just sort of helping spread the word for other people as well is really key. I think the biggest thing really is our community is so amazing, so strong. It's like a huge family in Saugeen Shores, I feel. And I know that people in our community and donors to our foundation want to help solve a problem. So if you put that out there and then offer them a solution. So for example, recently we had a defibrillator campaign where we needed to raise $80,000 for 4 new defibrillators for the local hospital in Saugeen Shores. So we put that out there in the community. We offer a problem that needs to be solved, and the community just in droves comes forward and just offers a solution. We raised that money in record time. It was done. Those defibrillators are paid for. So the key issues I think we look at is donors want to be engaged. They want to be able to help solve a problem. You offer the solution, or offer your organization, your business as a solution, and then follow it full circle and demonstrate the impact that their help has given. So we went back out, we go back out on social media with just photos, thank you photos, like look what you did. And again, the social media numbers just pour in. So I think we are very fortunate to live in the community that we do. We have an amazing support system out there. The businesses work together. The service groups work together. The community just comes up with the most amazing ideas to fundraise on their own and give to organizations like ours that are out there. So I think we're very lucky. It could have been a lot worse this year, but it turned out a lot better than I thought. There's lots of great lessons learned this year.
Tracy, thank you very much for those words of wisdom. Does anybody have any questions for Tracy? I pulled this off your website, by the way. I just loved how you focused on strengthening relationships. I think we've all been kind of in that mode, maybe not cognizantly, like we haven't really thought about it, but that's really what we've all been doing throughout this time. So I appreciate you putting it into words for us, Tracy.
You're welcome.
All right, thank you very much, all of you. The information was just absolutely incredible. I do want to thank all of you for attending. I want to thank the presenters for presenting. The information definitely will serve us well moving forward as we, get into this second wave. Actually, I think we're in the second wave now, and definitely the information is going to be very helpful moving forward.
Shanna, I have a quick question.
Cheryl, go ahead.
Thank you, everybody. It was really so inspirational to hear what you've all been doing. I wonder, Shanna and Jessica, if this is something I'd really like to see, maybe an abbreviated version of this presented to council, because I think it would be valuable for all of council to hear this kind of specific information on what organizations and businesses have done. It's timing. We couldn't have all of the detail. We don't have the time to do that, but that's something I'd like to see. I think it'd be great.
Thank you, Cheryl. That's a great suggestion. We'll work on that. We do have a couple of things coming up. I did want to share with this group. We are going to be providing additional educational sessions. The next one is going to be on COVID compliance. So supporting each other to ensure customer safety, and that hoping to get that message out to the community that this is a safe community to eat, to play, to enjoy shopping again. So those are some of the things that we're going to be doing next. And this kind of session, Cheryl, you had mentioned that this is definitely something we want to hear from other businesses and other not-for-profits. So we are going to be doing this again, this type of forum, so that we can hear other ideas and how other businesses and not-for-profits have organized their time during COVID. I want to thank everybody for your support on this, and I would love anybody that has an idea about what you'd like to see in this educational forum. Let us know, because we'll come up with something for you, and hopefully we can move it down the pipes. We've been doing these now for the last month and a half, and they've been very well received. So hopefully get your ideas in, and we'll provide some information that needs to go out to our community. You can reach me at, that's even the wrong, that's the wrong email address. It's Shanna Reed at saugeenshores.ca. That's a little bit, that one will get to me too. And it says aquatic supervisor, and that I'm not any longer, I'm tourism. So thank you very much again, everybody. I'm going to let everybody go. I'm actually going to be meeting with Kaylin. So Kaylin, if you want to stay on the line, we'll go from there. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Um,
Kaylin, you still there?
Yes, I am.
Awesome. So if you have some questions, we can just move through what, how do you like zooming from Saugeen?
Starting to get used to it, I guess. Certainly,
Yeah,
I mean, I'd love to be in Toronto, but I'd love to be in Toronto if everything was normal. But given the amount of cases and stuff, it's much nicer to be here.
Yeah, for sure. Are you in first year?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, my son is in his first year in Laurier.
Oh yeah.
And had to do, yeah, and he's at home too. So yeah, he's having fun. I don't know. And I don't know how you guys are doing it, you know, having to do your frosh week with mommy and daddy, you know?
Yeah. Of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
Certainly a weird time, but I mean, you just gotta hope that things can return to normal soon enough that we'll still at least be there next year, kind of thing.
Yeah, one of my son's friends actually is at Ryerson.
Oh, yeah.
He's doing and he's in residence and everything, but he's got a very small program. So I think that's how they're managing it. He's in one of the acting groups.
Okay. Yeah.
So, yeah. So I mean, they are getting people back slowly. So
Slowly, yeah.
yeah, yep. So hit me with some questions, sir. Let's see if I
For
can
sure.
answer them.
So just kind of before we get started, I actually just wanted to make sure if you're okay with me recording this interview. That would
Oh,
be
absolutely, sure.
Sure. Great. So yeah, I guess, could you just tell me a bit more about your role specifically with the town of Saugeen Shores?